Hello, good morning, friends. We are not able to teach you in our routine class, so we have to go for e learning. Today, our topic is anatomy of external ear and middle ear. Let us start from the development of ear. As you see in the slide, auricle develops from first branchial cleft, and importantly, pre-auricular sinus is due to faulty fusion of first and second tubercle. In this type of patients, you will see a small pit in left or right pinna, and patient complains of discharging from that sinus and sometimes pain and inflammation. Surgery is the only treatment. Now the next slide is development of ear. External canal develops from first branchial cleft, and the tympanic membrane develops from all the three germinal layers. Our middle ear cleft develops from mainly first and partly from second pharyngeal pouch. Malleus and incus from mesoderm of first arch and stapes from second arch. Inner ear develops from the ectoderm in the region of hindbrain, and cochlea develops by 20th week, and the fetus can hear in the womb. So surprising. Now let us see external ear. It consists of two parts, auricle and secondly external auditory canal. As you see in this figure, this is the figure of left pinna. It consists of crus of helix, Simba conchi, antihelix, antitragus, lobule, etc. This pinna is made of a single piece of yellow elastic cartilage. Secondly, you can see incisura terminalis. It is from tragus and helix. It lies between tragus and crux of helix, and its importance is you can operate ears by this end oral incision. Incision is placed between tragus and helix. External caudatory anal is not straight, and its skin contains hair, ceruminous, and pilosebaceous glands which secrete wax. And importantly, whenever patient itches in the canal, it creates furuncle which is very painful. The inner two-thirds of bony external auditory canal is two-thirds of total length, and isthmus is 6 mm lateral to tympanic membrane. It is a very narrow part, so foreign bodies medial to it gets highly impacted. Now let us learn something about tympanic membrane. It forms the lateral wall of middle ear. It is having two parts, pars tensa and pars flaccida. It is also as having annulus tympanicus. It is also known as fibrocartilaginous ring in which TM sits, and it has got three layers as studied earlier. When we see tympanic membrane by otoscope, you can always see umbo malleus, and if it is thin, you can also see incus through it. In normal TM, you can appreciate cone of light also. Now, if you see nerve supply, it is mainly from auriculotemporal and cranial nerve 7th and 8th. Tympanic membrane also lateral surplus gets its nerve supply from auriculotemporal nerve anteriorly and posteriorly auricular branch of vagus, and middle ear gets its nerve supply by Jacobson's nerve. Now, middle ear cleft is formed by so many organs. First is eustachian tube, middle ear, attic, antrum, and mastoid head cells. All these together known as middle ear cleft. You can see the figure. Middle ear is like a 6-sided box and divided mainly into 3 parts: attic, mesotympanum, and hypotympanum. And portion of around eustachian tube orifice is also called as protympanum. You can easily appreciate in this figure, in which attic is above the tympanic membrane and hypotympanum is below the level of tympanic membrane. This figure clearly indicates schematic diagram of a 6-sided cube-like structure of middle ear, and it is helpful in knowing anatomy and relation of structures of middle ear cleft. The roof of middle ear is formed by tegmen tympani, and it separates middle ear from middle cranial fossa, and floor separates from jugular bulb. Anterior wall separates middle ear from internal carotid artery, and it has got 2 openings anteriorly. One is for tensor tympani and lower is for eustachian tube. The posterior wall has many structures like pyramid, from where stapedius tendon arises and is attached to the neck of stapes. Aretus is the opening from antrum to attic, and facial recess is a depression lateral to pyramid, and it is also a site for posterior tympanotomy. Now let us know about the medial wall of middle ear. It is formed by the labyrinth. Promontory is the bulge due to basal turn of cochlea. Oval window where stapes footplate sits. Round window is the other end of inner ear. You can see bony canal of 7th or facial nerve that is lying above the oval window, and processus cochleariformis, which is a hook-like projection anterior to oval window. Now let us see slightly more detail. The cochleariform process also marks the genu of, or specifically first genu of, facial nerve. Hence it is a very important surgical landmark in facial nerve surgery. Sinus tympani is a deep recess medial to pyramid, and it is bounded by ponticulus above and subiculum below. Lateral wall of middle ear is formed by tympanic membrane and outer attic wall. This is showing mastoid antrum. This McEwan's triangle is very important surgical landmark, and whenever we go for cortical mastoidomy, antrum lies about 1 to 1.5 centimeter deep to McEwan's triangle. Now let us learn about mastoid head cells. Mastoid is basically you get three types of cells. One is volumetized or cellular, second is diploidic, and third is sclerotic. Depending on the position, they can be zygomatic, tegmen, pericynous, retrofacial, perilabyrinthine, peritubal, and mastoid tip cells. Corner septum is a petrosquamosal suture persists as a bony plate. This is an important structure. Unless you open it, one cannot reach the mastoid antrum. So this is the importance of corner septum. Now about ossicles. We get three ossicles: hammer, anvil, stirrup, or malleus, incus, and stapes. And foot plate sits on the pole window. This is the figure of malleus, and parts are shown. The superiorly there is head and articular facet which is attached with the incus. The manubrium attaches to the tympanic membrane, and one more small lateral process known as short process also. Now you are seeing incus. Incus is attached with head of the malleus, and there is a facet. The main part is its body of incus, and to which superior ligament is attached, which is not shown in this figure. A small short crus which is also attached with posterior ligament, and long crus. It is curved downwards and makes lentiform process, and which articulates with the stapes head. Stapes is a very small structure which has head, neck, anterior crus, posterior crus, and foot plate. Foot plate sits in the oval window. It vibrates and creates and transmits sound to the inner ear. Now if we look at intratympanic muscles, we have tensor tympani and stapedius. Stapedius muscle protects stapes by exposure of a loud sound, and inner ear doesn't get damaged. It fixes stapes on hearing loud sound. So inner ear is protected by the ill effect of big large sound. Now let us learn about nerve supply of middle ear. Mainly it is from tympanic plexus, and plexus is made of tympanic branch of glossopharyngeal and sympathetic fibers from the plexus around the internal carotid artery. It lies on the promontory and carries secretomotor fibers for the pituitary gland. Now let us see blood supply of middle ear. Anterior tympanic branch of maxillary artery. It supplies tympanic membrane. Stylomastoid branch of posterior auricular artery. It supplies middle ear and head cells. Petrosal branch of middle meningeal artery, superior tympanic branch of middle meningeal artery, branch of artery of pterygoid canal, and tympanic branch of internal cavity artery. So today this is our first lecture, and go through textbook also, and if you have any query you are free to ask. Thank you so much.